Hey guys, it's Haley, and I'm so sorry I've been gone for so long. It's been 3 weeks, and I'd film a video, I just didn't know if I liked it or not, and it's really hard as a new YouTuber to come up with clever video ideas. And being that I don't have a super great quality camera or an amazing editing software, I can only do so much, and if I don't enjoy it, then I'm not gonna upload it. So that's been kind of the problem, but today I'm doing my very first storytime video, and I always enjoy watching these made by other YouTubers like Shannon Rose or Tana Mojo. I can't pronounce her last name. But I like storytime videos, so I decided I was gonna do one. And today's storytime video is about how my best friend and I got kicked off Splash Mountain in Disneyland on my birthday. Yeah. So, a while back I did a food challenge with my friend Layla, and Layla is my best friend. And I went to Disneyland with her for my, I believe it was 11th birthday. Yeah. So I went to Disneyland for my 11th birthday. It was my mom, my dad, Layla, and I decided to take her as my friend to go to Disneyland, obviously. And we were there for, I want to say 4 days, maybe 3. I'm not sure. But, and all day, Splash Mountain had been closed. And Splash Mountain was one of my favorite rides. My birthday is in May, so it was hot there. It was 90 degrees. It was dry heat. It was awful. And Splash Mountain was closed. And so later that night, around the time the park was closing, so an hour and a half before the park was closing, Splash Mountain opened. And there was nobody in line because everybody was leaving the park. And Layla and I were like, we want to go on Splash Mountain. And my dad was like, okay. My mom was shopping, my dad was watching us, and so we went on Splash Mountain, and we kept going on. And the last time we went on, we got into the log type thing, and she sat down, and she's like, Haley, my seat's warm. And I was just like, okay. And so the ride keeps going, and I just hear her keep yelling, my seat's warm. And I'm like, oh my gosh, calm down. It's okay. I bet it's just the water. And in front of me, it's these 3 Hispanic boys who can't speak any English, and they were splashing me with water. Or they were splashing each other with water, but it kept getting on me. And I was like, can you please stop? But they didn't understand me. And so over the intercom thing on the right, it was just please keep your hands inside the log at all times. And they didn't understand what was going on, so they kept doing it. And Layla, we had switched earlier the day over from California Adventure to Disneyland, and so they hand stamped our hand, and so it was one of the LED kind of stamps, and I accidentally rubbed it on my face, so I kept turning around, and she was like, your face is going, but I was just like, oh well. And so I got called please turn around, but I didn't get in trouble for that. But that kind of leads up to what, yeah. And so she kept saying, my seat is warm, the water is warm. She honestly thought someone peed in the log where she was sitting. So when we went up to the big drop, we were going up before we were about to drop. And she stands up out of her seats and switches to behind me, because she was in the 2-seater one at first. And so she switches to the seat behind me right before it drops, and right when she sits down, it drops. And we just hear, when we, get down after the drop, please stay seated in your seat at all times, blah, 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 blah. And then she switches back to her other seat, because she doesn't like the seat she's in. And then we hear it again, please stay seated, blah, 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 blah. The boys in the front are still splashing each other. It's getting on me, and I'm like, stop splashing me. I'm already, drenched from this ride. And so we get into, the stop, where the ride ends, and, the worker person comes over, and he's just he looks at Layla, he looks at me, and he looks at the 3 boys. And he looks at the 3 boys again, and he's just we asked you to stop splashing, but you kept splashing. And they were just, laughing because, they can't understand anything. Then he looks at me, he just, gives me like a dirty look and then looks at Layla, and he was just like, "You got out of your seat. You don't know how dangerous that is." And she got like a 5-minute lecture, and then he like looks at all of us and he bends down and he just says, "I want to ask all of you, like kids, not to return onto this ride for the rest of the night." And we're just like, okay. And we got out and like ran off, and I told my dad and he started laughing, and I told my mom and she was just like, really? But yeah, that's how we got kicked off the ride at Disneyland, because Layla thought someone peed in her seat. I was the only one who didn't get in trouble, and I felt so awkward. I was just sitting there and they were getting yelled at. I was in the middle of all of them. But yeah, that's how I got kicked off the ride, and I hope you enjoyed this storytime video. It might not be as funny as I thought it was when it happened, but you know, what can I say? I just needed to upload a video, and I thought this was a pretty good story to tell. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I pinky promise all of you guys that I will upload more often and make sure I get my act together. But yeah, bye. I hope you enjoyed it.